All right. Like this. All right, I'm live. It's night over here, but I still have time to do a little live stream, so that's why I came on. It's me, Ari Does It, or for those who follow this channel for a while, Rashid. When you're here, let me know in the live chat you're here, please. And please hit the like button. I'll start at 4 minutes as always. Well, lad is here. I'm glad you're here, well, lad. Hit the like button to help this live stream help this live stream to reach others too. All right. I'll start at 4 minutes. Maria Garcia is here. I'm glad you're here, Maria. Tammy is here. Curly Girl is here. By the way, can you all hear me clearly? Let me know, please. I'm sure you can see me clearly, but can you hear me clearly? Let me know. Steve is here. I'm glad you're here, brother Steve. All right. You can hear me crystal clear. That's good. Hit the like club button if you haven't done so yet. Please do that. Thank you very much. Justin is here. So that's good. Justin, after this live stream today, it's your turn now. So just like I asked Curly Girl last time, to email me her number so that I could call her afterwards, have a brief fellowship individually. This time it's your turn, Justin Berkman. So you know my email. If you have WhatsApp or Telegram on your mobile phone, that'll be much better because those are encrypted, so they can't listen to what we're saying. So Justin Berkman, I'm going to type in my email. Okay, so please do that, Justin Berkman. Thank you very much. Because I don't want to make this live stream too long, but I'll see how far it goes. But Justin Berkman, please, there's my email. Mail me your phone number, your cell phone number. If you have WhatsApp, will be better, or Telegram, or email your number. Then we can have a short fellowship later on. I can call with a phone subscription, but I prefer you have WhatsApp or Telegram because that's encrypted. I don't want the FBI or CIA to have easy access to what I'm discussing with fellow believers during fellowship. It's not their concern, devil worshippers. But anyway, it's almost 4 minutes, so I'm about to begin. Christopher is here too. Glad you're here, Christopher. Danielle is here too. Bridge is here. Glad you're all here. Hold on. Wait a minute. Almost 4 minutes. All right, class has begun. How many of you heard the following? Grow up. Take responsibility for your life. Stop blaming other people. That's childish. That's ridiculous. Stop blaming other people and take some responsibility. How many of you hear that? Maybe it wasn't said towards you, but it was said towards someone else. Or maybe you were accused of blaming other people for the issues you have in life. There's an assumption here. And that assumption is that you are capable of fixing everything that happens to you. Is that true? And also a question. Is it true that you can fix everything that happens to you? Let me know. Because that's the assumption behind this accusation that you take responsibility for your lives. Can you, as an individual human being, as a vulnerable creature, fix everything happens to you? Absolutely not. That means that when people tell you you must take responsibility for your life, they say your life. So it's not their life. So it's not their concern. That means that no matter how people treat you, you're able to make it all work out by your own effort without having to involve anyone else. Thing is, several decades ago, you were just a little baby. You couldn't do much. Then you grew up as an adult, and now as an adult, you're still a vulnerable creature. You still need a community. You still need social interaction. But now they tell you you must arrange all the outcomes in your life. But hold on a minute. Are you the only human being on the earth? No, you're not. That means other human beings are around too. So they also have an effect on you. So hold on a minute. So others can choose how they think about you, how they feel about you, how they treat you, and you're not allowed to call them out how they decided to relate to you. You have to make sure you always make the right decisions, no matter how people treat you. Is this even possible? No, it's not. Oh, but let's look at the other way around. When the group fails you, they tell you forget about it, stop talking about it, happened many years ago. Oh, but look at this. If you did something wrong, whether it's trespassing on a property, or you so-called broke in, or you knock someone out during an argument, when you do something, you get a criminal record, you go to prison for a while, you lose a lot of years of your life that you can't do anything. You're kept away from family, friends, from opportunities. They do give you food, water, and a place to stay, but they keep you hidden. And even after you leave prison, they still have a record that will hinder you. But when society is the one that neglected you, or they allow bad things to happen to you have to just go to church, pray about it, and shut up so everyone can continue. Don't you see that this is narcissism right over here? The group is entitled to treat you however they see fit, but you have the obligation to make sure that you make them at ease. There's no way you can agree with this and be in your right mind. The only way you can agree with this is either you're mentally ill because you can't think properly, or you're demon possessed. One to two. There's no way anyone that's healthy and sane can agree with such an arrangement. There are people. Let me tell you this. There was a guy who spent 16 years in prison, 16 years, almost 2 decades. That's a generation. Almost a whole generation spent in prison for a rape he never committed. And the woman that cried rape even admitted that she just wanted attention years later, after she made a lot of money with her books. And here's the thing, the guy the police locked up wasn't even around the woman. They just took a vague description of the alleged perpetrator and they put that on a random guy in the streets, and that random guy was convicted in court. 16 years. Nobody can give him back those 16 years. He lost time with friends, family. He lost opportunities. He was also abused by fellow prisoners. He saw psychological damage. 16 years. He may get some money because of what he went through. But that woman that so-called wanted attention, why isn't she charged? Why aren't the people charged and shamed publicly who got along with this? Because it was clear 16 years ago that he was innocent. Forget about the woman who lied for attention. Why did people just believe her like that? Why, when this woman cried rape, they didn't investigate her claim? Why did they just believe her and put the blame on a guy? It was clear 16 years ago that nothing of the case added up. But society had this woman who was losing her mind, and they want to calm her down so she wouldn't lose it. So to calm down the woman so they would be left alone, they were okay with putting the blame on someone, knowing full well the individual is likely not even guilty of anything. So in this case, this man cooperated with the police. He did the right thing. He obeyed the laws. He cooperated with the police. He went to court. He he did all of that, and he still ended up in a bad situation. Now, people often tell you take responsibility for your life. Make better decisions. Now, this man made the right decisions, and it cost him. Why is society not taking responsibility now? Why do they admit, yes, we believe this woman just out of blue? Put the pictures out there of all the police officers that collaborated with this thing. Put the face of the judges, put the face of the jury members, put the face of all the people that lash out against the men in public. Put it all out there so that they all face humiliation for the thing they've done. Oh, no, 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 no. We can't do that. Privacy rules. Privacy, privacy. You see how far this goes? Society as a movement insists on you making sure you don't bother them, that are not bothered by you. But anytime they're upset and affects you, it's on you. If you fall for this, it's on you. If you fall for this claim of society, it's on you. Because there's no way your human brain can agree with this. No way. You're either mentally ill because you can't think clearly, due to trauma or due to anxiety or whatever. Then you need to go into therapy, and please go into therapy. Or you're demon possessed. And if you're demon possessed, then you're not a believer because believers can't be demon possessed. So I don't have demon possessed people in this live chat. I only have believers. Now, some believers are still mentally ill. That's why they need to go into counseling. Look, I do not agree with criminals who love to use guns and trickery to get their things done. I do not agree with scam artists that use paranormal charms in order to get ahead. I don't. But there's one thing. I'm not talking about all criminals. I'm not talking about people who do sex offenses with children, all of that. No, I'm not talking about them. People that do financial crime out there, I'm not endorsing it. There is one thing about their attitude I do endorse, and that's the following. They use their they have common sense. They can clearly see that society is a narcissist. That whole arrangement is at their expense. And that the people around them are so out of their mind to get along with this. And they know very well that because of this, when it comes down to it, the people around them won't help them. The people around them will get along, just get a pat on the back. That's why these people think, hold on a minute. Why should I always just get along with your expectations and you don't actually invest in me? How come you have the money and effort to put me in prison if you're upset with me, but you don't have the money and effort to make sure I have abundance and I have opportunities around me? Why is it that I need to work hard and fight hard to get good outcomes in life based on your rules? But anytime I'm in need, it's all on me, or I need to pray to God. What is that? And why is it that you, society, have the right anytime to harm me, hurt me, and destroy my livelihood and to cause misfortune onto me when I don't validate your demands called laws? When I have nothing to demand, I just have to take it. What the heck is that? Financial criminals, even though it's not smart what they're doing, financial crime, they do have some sense of basic human value for themselves. They don't just take it, that people just want what they want from them. Now, look, I'm not supporting this antisocial, rebellious attitude. As human beings, we ought to get along. That's healthy. But we shouldn't get along at all costs. And that's what society is. People get along at all costs. Now, Jesus wants us to get along too, but Jesus wants us to get along in safety and in peace. The world wants order just to be left alone. Christ doesn't even care that much about order. As long as there's no disorder, there can be chaos. Chaos and disorder are not the same. Disorder is when there is uh, grievous dysfunction. That's what disorder is. Chaos simply means things are a bit messy, things are a bit wild. There's nothing wrong with things being messy and wild as long as there's peace. Christ was also get along in safety and peace. The world gets along at expense of selected victims. That's what the world is doing. That's why Jesus said, I give you peace, not as the world gave it peace. Because the peace that the world gives you is not real peace, it's a counterfeit. So, as believers, we do want to get along with other people, as we should, but we don't get along at expense of long-term safety and the long-term well-being of the community. We don't do that. But that's what society is doing. Look, we should have human communities, but we should never have a society. Society is a fear construct, it's a narcissist. Think about it. When society neglects you, either through corruption in politics or by not informing you through the public school system. By the way, you were forced to go to school as a child. You had no option. You had nothing to choose. Your parents could homeschool you if they got permission, but there was pressure on you to go to school. You're forced to go to school, and they didn't teach you proper things about the spirit world at all. They didn't even teach you proper things about life. And now, as an adult, you spend 16 years in the school system, at least, and now you are deformed. And now it's on you to make sure you deal with all the consequences. Come on now, what the heck is that? Come on. That's why I'm telling every believer we need to walk in the resurrection part of Christ. This whole debating, all this religious debating, and all those feelings and emotions running wild in church need to stop. Because society always seeks to have some leverage over you. Society always seeks to have a leverage over you to sabotage you. Society does not want you to have spiritual dominance as a human being. They don't want you to have that. They don't want you to have a spiritual leverage. Um, they want you to be uninformed, misinformed, um, internally unstable, so that you need them on their terms. So if you don't dress the way they want, talk the way they want, agree with what they want you to agree, then you don't get a job, you can't pay rent, you end up homeless. That's what society does. That's what society does. It's called institutional power. You will not get any food on the table unless you have money. And to get money, you need to be hired. And to be hired, you need to meet certain expectations. You don't submit those expectations, you don't exist, you die. You don't matter. That is the threat society is using against you. Either you die because we neglect you, or you die because we take action against your life. That is the threat society uses on you. But most of us don't realize this is a threat. It's one thing to expect cooperation from the public. That's a good thing. It's one thing to put repercussions on people that don't comply with safety and harmony. Okay, that's the good thing. It's one thing to expect and demand a contribution for the better from your citizens. It becomes something completely different when you feel entitled to neglect and violate someone just because they don't validate your will. And you think, I don't have to explain my will. I will what I will. Even that with Father, God Himself explains His will. So who are you or who are these people? They can will what they will, and you just have to take what they will. What the heck is that? What the heck is that? Yet society organizes itself in such a way that they always have people ready to hurt you whenever you don't do what they want. Most people out there don't dare to admit that they feel threatened. They don't want to admit that they feel blackmailed. Society blackmails you. Not necessarily society is not blackmailing you to get you to do something good. Society is blackmailing you so you never open your mouth or criticize things that don't add up. That's why so many people out there are anxious. That's why there's so many anxiety disorders out there. Because people are not allowed to see the reality for what it really is. Look, if seeing the reality for what it is will get you killed, then you will develop desire not to see reality. You now develop escapisms so that you don't have to deal with the painful things. Look, if I point a gun to your head and tell you not to admit I have a gun to your head, you will get along with that because you don't want me to shoot the gun and you die. But the moment you deny the fact there's a gun towards your head, you develop mental illness. Why? Because you're going against your own natural senses. And that goes on in society. People are tricked from the time they're born to go against their natural senses. They're either told that they have no value whatsoever, or they're told that they have a right to be their own tiny god, and people have to take whatever they will. Both of extremes are wrong. People in the world develop mental plagues because they are not allowed to admit that they are being violated. And here's the thing, a lot of people in the world end up violating others, not even realizing they were doing so. They were just acting out how they were raised. So that's also taking into the process now. Deliverance begins when you admit that you are being violated, when you admit you're being neglected, when you admit that you're being blackmailed. The moment you admit the distant gun towards your head, for that's the point, the moment you begin your deliverance process begins. Because you have to admit the danger so you can see what the danger is. For you to get out of the danger, you must admit the danger is there so you can see what the danger is and you can get out of it. If you don't admit the danger, you remain stuck in the danger. So, am I saying that everyone out there who's not a believer is a narcissist out there to get you and rob you? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this thing called society that they are a part of is a narcissist. So, what do we do about it as believers? We make sure that we are dominant in daily life. I'm not saying dominant in bossing others around and slapping others around for to make them do what we want or putting a gun to someone's face. I'm not talking about those violent things they do in society. We ought to use our spirit knowledge, our spirit intelligence to such a way that in every situation we are the ones with the upper hand and we push the situation in our favor. That is what we ought to do as believers. That's how radical we should be. We're not radical like some of those Mohammedans that put suicide vest on and explode themselves. I'm not talking about that type of I'm not talking about that type of radical. No, we should be radical in using our spirit intelligence in daily life. And when you use your spirit intelligence, I'm telling you, you'll be ahead of 99% of all the danger that you'll encounter during this lifetime. You'll be ahead of it. The thing is, no misfortune, no tragedy, and nothing bad happens on the earth without warning signals ahead of time. There's something bad's about to happen. The moment we use our spirit intelligence, we will be able to pick up warning signals and act ahead of time. We believers should be the ones running the nations, all nations. All nations should be run by believers, whether it's openly or behind the scenes. Believers should be the ones in charge of all the affairs of the world. Why aren't we in charge of all the affairs of the world? Because we are stuck in those Babylon churches where they tell us that we have no value and we have to wait till heaven to get it better. So, society does not want you to take responsibility. The moment you take responsibility for yourself, you admit you're only a vulnerable creature and you have limited options by yourself. That's take responsibility. Take responsibility means being realistic about yourself. The moment you take responsibility, you're going to realize that, hold on a minute, I've been shaped to the individual I am today. And yes, if I've been shaped the wrong way, I want to change for the better. I want to make effort for it. That's on me. But who shaped me to what I am today? Did the people that shaped me to the individual I am today, are they willing to change and help me to become a better individual? Or are they invested in the deformed version of me? Because if they're invested in the deformed version of me, they're part of the problem. Then they need to take responsibility too for how they relate to me. Oh, but here it comes. Society tells you to take responsibility. But the moment you take responsibility, it backfires on society because now they are forced to take responsibility too. Either they elevate you to a god that you're able to put by putting all the blame of everything on you, or they admit that it's not just you, it's all of them that is dysfunctional. And the second thing society never wants to do. So when society tells you to woman up or to man up and take responsibility for your life and never blame others, they don't mean it. They don't want you to recognize that others neglected you and call it out because that's going to be harmful or it's going to be humiliating. But thing is, if you take responsibility by moving away from society's blackmail, it will expose society. They don't want that either. Society does not mean it when they tell you to take responsibility for yourself. They don't want you to do that. The moment you do that, it embarrasses them. They want you to remain in a better condition in which they can use it against you. So, what do you do with society? You admit what society is a narcissist. You see through its cons and its scams. And what do you do next? You brush it off. Just shake it off of you. You realize, hey, the Admin Father has guidelines that will help me through this. So let me go to the Admin Father's guidelines. This is what you do. You follow the Admin Father's guidelines and not the boundaries of society. Because society's boundaries only keep you in bondage. That's why it's called boundaries. You're being they use those spells to bind you. That's why it's called boundaries. They're using those spells to bind you. You follow the guidelines that have been followed, not the boundaries of society. Simple as that. So, yes, we should get along with one another here on the earth. We should. That's our obligation towards one another and to the Heavenly Father. However, the condition is we get along in safety and in peace, real peace, not the fake counterfeit peace of the world. And that means that we have to take responsibility, all of us together. No human being is born speaking Spanish fluently. No human being is born playing the piano fluently. No human being is born with a PhD. Those things are shaped into someone. and someone's own decisions and ambition also take part of it. Why is it that once someone is shaped and they end up well in life, society wants credit. But if someone ends up bad, they want to put them in prison. They want to talk about it. Come on, that's narcissistic. The one if you're the one, then we're all shaped by environment. That means that the environment must take credit for both the good, how people end up well, and for those that end up bad. That's fair and that's honest. But society doesn't want to take credit for those that end up bad. They only want to take credit for those that end up good. And when those that end up bad, to blame themselves for how they ended up. Now, some people do end up bad because they make bad decisions themselves. That's true. But even while they were making bad decisions, that does not take away the obligation from others to relate in a positive way towards them. So do not fall for societal sabotage. Society will fake as if they're happy for you to succeed. They may even turn you into a celebrity to inspire other people. Why are they doing that? Just so they can break you down later on. Society will turn you into a celebrity so that society will turn you a celebrity just so that people are inspired by you, and later they will tear you apart, but also to hurt all those people who are inspired by you. That's how they keep everyone in a state of anxiety to feed the demons. That's what society is doing. So anytime you see someone being elevated by society, watch out. Society will not elevate you if it can't blackmail you. Society only elevates those that can blackmail. If society has nothing on you, the society can use against you, society will not elevate you, society won't even mention you. So anyone out there that's elevated by society, ask yourself, what is it that they have on this individual? Maybe it's a female who has a PhD. Okay, but look at this. It's a female with a PhD. Where's her husband? Where's her companion? Where are her babies? Where's her family? Does she have a good relationship with her parents? Let's look at the quality of this female that they're promoting with this PhD. And you'll soon find out that the only thing that this female has is some feminist attitude that they're upholding. That's it. Apart from that, she has no long term quality to offer. And that's what they're using against her. Because if she had long term quality to offer, society wouldn't even be praising her. Look, I'm not saying that everyone out there that's praised by society is a bad individual or a toxic human being. No. Often society will elevate its own victims just to hide what they did to an individual. If society neglected you, one way for them to cover up what they did to you is by elevating you later in life. Maybe you used to be, maybe you used to be abused by your parents, and the people in the neighborhood didn't do anything. And now that you're a grown man and you have all those mental issues, it looks bad on the community for allowing all those bad things to happen to you. So now suddenly people begin to promote you into your music, into your academics, and they force you into some type of public success. Sometimes they do this just to appear as if, hey, we're not all bad people. We're really not that bad. Yes, some of us were neglectful towards you, but hey, we helped you out. We sponsored you. And you know what? The Heavenly Father does not want society to do good to you to build themselves out. Because society will do good to you just so that they can build themselves out from taking responsibility for how neglectful they were towards you. When you've been neglected by society, this is what the Heavenly Father does. The Heavenly Father will trick them to expose themselves to such an extent that they don't even dare to do good to you anymore. That's how far the Heavenly Father let it go. Why does the Heavenly Father do this? Because the Heavenly Father doesn't want them to do good to you. Because when they do good to you, they will use it against you. When they do good to you, they will take credit for how better off you are today, just to hide that they're the ones that put you in a bad situation to begin with. That's why often when the Heavenly Father is about to promote you, he will trick society to lose it against you. He does this by bringing you low, and once society has lost it against you, they can never go back and pretend it didn't happen. So they'll be quite uncomfortable doing good to you now just to shut you up. And that's how God wants it, so that when He elevates you, He gets the glory, He gets the credit. And there are good people out there. Not everyone is a narcissist, psychopath, sociopath out there to get you. Not everyone is a predator. I'm just pointing out to you that society is a predator. Society as a structure is a predator. The Heavenly Father did not want society to use the wounds they caused you to, to, to boost their own image. A lot of these public figures out there are victims that society pampers now as adults just so that nobody sees what's really going on. When you see someone out there being carried on both hands by the crowd, why are they doing that? They're doing that because there's something about this individual's past that will haunt the community if it becomes public. Maybe this individual was severely sexually molested as a child, and this individual even had mental issues. And this individual even became suicidal because of it. Now, when this comes out, it's going to make the community look bad, and it's not that they can do to save the community's reputation once this comes out. So that's why now, as an adult, they pamper the individual so much that people sometimes think, "Whoa, why is this guy so promoted? Why is this woman so praised in the media?" Now you know why. There's something about their past that would humiliate the whole community, and nobody wants this to come out. That's why they overshadow the individual with all this luxury. That's why Jesus said, "Woe unto you when all men speak well of you." Now, Jesus did not say that when people speak well of you, that is a bad sign. People should be talking good about you. That means you have a good reputation. That means you get along with other people. That's necessary and that's healthy, both for the individual as for the community. But in this fallen world, because that's what we are, a fallen world, where most human beings don't recognize their Heavenly Father's will, in this fallen world filled with dysfunction and violence, if in this fallen world with dysfunction and violence, most people carry you on both hands, they're only doing that because there's something about you that they allow to happen to you or that they did to you that they want to come out. So if society carries you on both hands, you're not in a good situation. You're actually being trapped. You need to get out of that situation as soon as possible. There was this Dutch author. He passed away I believe a while now. He used to write those erotic novels. I believe his name was Jan Wolkers, something like that. I tried to read one of his novels, man. I couldn't finish it, man. That man was very, very graphic, sometimes even dirty in his stories, man. Really. Now, there's nothing wrong with graphic stories because I tend to write graphic scenes also in some of my novels. But this guy went over the top when he would make his graphic sexual scenes in his novels. He's known for that. This man, when he was alive, there's one thing about him that I've noticed. He refused awards by society. Eventually, society stopped offering him awards because he would refuse them. I used to think to myself, why did this guy refuse so many awards? I mean, he was a well-known Dutch author. He had a legacy in the Netherlands. People knew who he was. Some of his stories were even turned into movies. Why did this man refuse all those awards? Because he knew what was behind it. To the public, it appears as, oh, Mr. Walkers is this graphic novel writer. He has a lot of success, and now they award him for contributing to Dutch society. But Mr. Walker saw the real intention behind it. He knew that that award was just a way for society to tell them, shut up about about all the bad stuff we're doing. So here's an award. Shut up about all the bad stuff. We'll never talk about it anymore. He knew that those awards were a way to blackmail him into shutting up about all the wrong that was going on. Now, I'm not saying that Mr. Walkers was a saint. Okay, I'm not even sure if he was a believer, likely not, but he understood the politics behind awards. Now, am I saying that believers should refuse awards that are offered to us? I'm not saying that. Sometimes it's good to take an award just to use it as a leverage later on. But just beware, when this world rewards you and awards you, ask yourself, what is it that they want to keep quiet? There is always an agenda. There's always a political motive behind society rewarding and awarding you. Always. Maybe you you're about to go with retirement, and at work there was a big party to celebrate your retirement. Now the co-workers there really are happy with all you've done for the business. Or let's say you're a police officer and you're about to retire with age 65. Now the younger police officers always looked up to you as a mentor, so they mean it from the heart when they celebrate. Finally, you can retire. But hold on a minute, you were a police officer for like 40 years. In those 40 years, you accumulate a lot of trauma, a lot of PTSD, and a lot of bodily illness due to all the stress. And look at this. As a police officer, you were cleaning up the mess of society's neglect. Society neglect its own turned into monsters. Now you need to deal with the mess of society. So you were actually used by society to cover up their neglect. You catching the bad guys was really to hide the neglect of the crowd, and it took a toll on you. And now to hide how society took advantage of you, they celebrate your retirement with such a big celebration. So that big celebration, okay, the from the co-workers part is true love, but from society's part, it is a way to shut you up. Hey, yes, we exploited you for 40 years, but hey, we gave you a big celebration, right? We gave you a pat on the back, so shut up. Look, not every award in life is is, is a setup. Sometimes people reward you and award you to motivate you and to motivate others. That's a good thing. And we should be humble to receive rewards and awards when they are handed out to us. But we should always ask ourselves, who's the one given the award and the reward? When Satan awards you, you know it's messed up. But the thing is, when society awards you, we often don't question what's really behind this. All right? So never fall for societal blackmail. Always make sure you're dominant in every circumstance. How do you do that? By being on top of the situation. That's what you do. You don't need to know all the information what goes on. Just make sure you are ahead of everything. So that was a live stream. I told you I don't want to keep it that long. If you have any questions related to this topic, please ask them. I'll stay for a few more minutes for you. And Justin Berkman, remember, send me your cell phone number plus the country codes. Please download WhatsApp or Telegram so we can have a quick call after this live stream. You got my email early on. If you have any questions about this topic, rest of you, please let me know. If you have no questions, then okay, then you can close the live stream, the browser, because it's end of the class. Yes, of course, I'll stay blessed. There's no other option but to stay blessed when we do the will of Heavenly Father. Thank you, Suzanne. You're welcome, Mila. Justin ask why are people being so nice all of a sudden? You can ask that, okay? Another thing you can ask is why are they so nice right now? Now, people can change and be so nice and kind towards you. That's an improvement. But look at the timing when it happens. If people suddenly become nice and kind towards you when their own neglect is coming out, then now you know why they're suddenly kind and all of that. If they're nice and kind towards you right after you opened your new business, it is because that kindness is just an open door to get financial revenue out of you. I'm not saying that people can't be nice and kind towards you from the bottom of their heart. It happens. Okay. And there are times people change for the better. We should celebrate that. But in this world, often when they become nice and kind towards you, check the timing when it begins to happen. It's quite important. All right. Thank you as well. I enjoy my week. I just came from an event today called Elf Fantasy Fair, or today call it Kingdom of Elvia. It's held twice a year in a castle in the Netherlands. One time of the year in Utrecht, the other time in Arken, which is south of the Netherlands. I I cosplayed Blade again. So yeah. A question I see here: how is the best way to reach my adult young people who are filled with the world? Well, ask them proper questions. Ask them questions that hint to them how unstable it is they're holding on to. Don't just tell them, oh, this is wrong, that's wrong, this and that. No, just ask them constructive questions about what they're involved in. If they're so in love with this idea of politics, ask them, where does politics come from? And why is it that politics is so filled with Greek mythology? Ask them those two questions. Why is politics so filled with Greek mythology? And you can't deny that in politics, there's a lot of Greek mythology going on a daily basis. When you ask those questions, they will have to face that something is off. If you ask those questions and they come up with stupid excuses, now you know they don't really are into solutions. You can still pray for them, but sow some seeds of information, but just leave them alone. Or else you'll be causing pros for swine. That's a dangerous thing to do. All right. I didn't get any more questions here. Well, thanks for being here. Keep on agreeing with Christ. Be at peace, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.